Hey guys, so I wanted to come on here and talk about the whole Mercedes Monet situation. Apparently, according to various reports, from Fightful Select, and Andrew Zarian, Sean Rossap, both the Fightful Select, I should say, and Madman Podcast, and Mike Johnson of the PW Insider. Apparently, they've talked to reliable sources within AEW, and even those within WWE that believe and have said that they feel that Mercedes Monet, aka Sasha Banks, is going to be all elite around the time of Revolution, either at the event, before, or after. And there's numerous people that are coming out in response to this and saying, well, you don't know if that's true or not. You don't know if she is AEW bound. You don't know if, they're just saying that, like Tony Khan might be saying that just to, up the morale in the company, up the morale for the women's division, motivate them to do better. You don't know. You don't know if that's true or not. And, they have a point. They have a point there, if you will. They do have a point. The problem, though, is there's just too much, in my opinion, just too much evidence. Too much evidence out there that might support, that theory. I mean, we didn't see her at the Rumble. We didn't see her at any of the Dynamites and Collisions, last month, and we didn't see her at Hard to Kill. And nor did we see her at the New Japan Battle in the Valley or Wrestle Kingdom. So there might be some actual fact to that, actual truth. And I wouldn't be surprised if she does sign with the company, if she hasn't already. Now, Mercedes has gone on record and said, don't believe anything people say until you hear it from me. And, her knowing herself better than anybody and the connection she has, I think taking her word over, any dirt sheets, if you will, might be the best solution, in my opinion. It might be the best solution, in my opinion. Now, with that said, why is she going to potentially? Let's talk about the big what if. What if she is going to AEW? What if the announcement Tony Khan has on Wednesday is about her? Why? Here's the question. Let's do the what ifs of why. Why is she going to go if the announcement by Tony Khan is about her? Well, initially it's about money, of course. It's always about money. No matter what sport you're a part of, it's always going to be about money. You're going to want this kind of money. You're going to want that kind of money. It's about money, period. Of course, the other thing is creative freedom. Obviously we're seeing a little bit of creative freedom in WWE now under the new regime, but mostly having creative freedom, maybe creative say in how you're booked, is a very attractive offer to her. The other potential reason is because a new environment, new opponents. Maybe be able to draw in some new prospects into the company that might consider WWE, but if they see someone like Mercedes in AEW, they might say, hey, let's go there instead. There might be those possibilities. Now, how do I see her run in AEW going if she does end up there? Well, I think contractually she needs to put an option into her contract. Because when you hear about Mercedes Monet, when you hear about her and everything, you hear, of how very businesslike she was. She has all these ventures, which is another reason going to AEW might be, a strong, if not very possible choice that she has made in the long run, to basically be able to continue doing what she does outside of wrestling. But she has all these other business ventures, right? So she's a businesswoman. She's a businesswoman, and she understands perfectly, that she has to essentially always have some kind of clause in the contract. She has to have a clause in the contract. And in my opinion, the best clause she could put is an opt-out, what's the word I'm looking for? An out option. Basically, an opt-out option is what she needs to put. And I'm sure that's why maybe, pen to paper, signature, ink, pen to paper, and the signature has not been, put onto the contract yet, because she's having her team, her lawyers, go over it and basically see, okay, what's good, what's not, what needs to be changed. And I could see them also at her request, if not order, probably put in, if not definitely put in, I should say, an opt-out step. And what an opt-out step would be, is if she doesn't feel satisfied within a certain time frame, like let's say 6 months or to the end of the year, she can opt out of a contract legally. So let's say she signs with the company and debuts at Revolution in March, within a month. Let's say she debuts there, but she's not satisfied within 6 months afterwards, which could be September, October. She can opt out of a contract just in time for maybe WWE Survivor Series War Games. She could do that. Or if she wants to wait until the end of the year to see what else might happen, maybe that could turn things around, she can also choose to opt out at the end of the year just in time for the Royal Rumble in 2025. To me, that would probably be the most likely thing she will do contractually with the company. To ensure that whatever she's going to be promised is guaranteed to her indeed happens. So to me, it's not just having the freedom creatively over how over your character, over what you say, not just being able to continue your business ventures outside of the company. It's also basically ensuring you are happy where you're going to be, and in ensuring that happiness, you want to make sure you get what you are promised by adding in a stipulation like an opt-out. And I think that's probably the best thing for her to do. Now, with that said, if Tony Khan has signed her and she is destined for Around Revolution, how do you debut her? How do you bring her in to ensure not only she's happy, but to ensure she doesn't consider doing any opt-outs or anything like that? How do you debut her? And in my opinion, you take a page out of and I'm sure Tony Khan's thought about this. You take a page out of her debut in New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom last year. You have her debut after the title match, and basically send a message that at the next AEW pay-per-view, she's going to challenge, for the AEW Women's Championship. And you go from there. You build from there. Or you have her show up after the women's match and use her new contract as, as proof that she can challenge for the championship anytime she wants, even right then and there. And then what you do, either whether or not it's against Deonna Purrazzo or against Toni Storm, you have her go into the ring, have the match happen, and you have her walk out the women's champion. You want to basically make an impact, with this woman the first night she's under contract with you. That's the way you do it. You either have her come out and say, hey, I'll be your next challenger, double or nothing, or you have her basically literally jump ahead of the line upon her debut, and first night in, she wins the championship, and you get a title change or a double title change within the span of maybe a few moments. That's how you should do it with someone like her. And I think, literally that's how Tony Khan should do it, upon her arrival in the company. So yeah, to me, that's probably the best direction to go. There's no getting around that. There's no sugarcoating that, if you will. Because if you don't want her, looking at her contract and reminding you, hey, I've got this opt-out, clause in my contract that will allow me to legally get out of my contract here and go elsewhere within the span of 6 months to a year, or 6 months to the end of the year. If you don't want me to do that, you got to ensure I stay happy. You got to ensure everything you promised me becomes reality. And again, if I'm Tony Khan and I don't want her to look at something like that, if she has that in the contract, which I have no doubt she is strongly considering putting in, if not has put in already, which is why the ink on paper hasn't dried yet. If I'm Tony Khan and I don't want her to think about that, then I give her what she wants. I give her what she is asking for. I give her the spotlight. I put her in the upper echelon, of my talent. I put her, in the main event as much as I can, of not just dynamites and collisions, but of pay-per-views. I put her at the very top of the top of the list of elitists that I have, at the front of my company. I do whatever I have to, if I'm Tony Khan, to ensure this woman is happy. And to me, one of the best ways to do that is to make her debut as impactful and as memorable as ever. and it gets people talking and maybe even wanting to tune in to Dynamite and Collision to see the aftermath. Whether it's her calling her shot for Double or Nothing, or her walking in, as the new women's champion because she's using a clause she put in the contract that says upon her arrival, first night in, she challenges for the belt. There you go. So to me, that's how I think Tony Khan should consider debuting Mercedes Moné, in my opinion. But again, I think the reason she's going mostly is because of the money, the creative freedom, being able to, be able to continue doing her own, business ventures as well. But also, I also think she's going to see what it's like over there and everything. But I also believe she's not, I also believe that the reason she hasn't arrived yet is contractually, she's a businesswoman. Like I said, she's not gonna, be in a hurry to sign anything until she goes over and reviews everything with her team, and then maybe adds in a few amendments here and there. And one of those amendments, I think, would be the opt-out option that allows her to opt out of a contract within the span of 6 years to the end of the year, so she can go elsewhere if she's not happy. So I think that's what's going on too, which is why it's taking a while for her to potentially get there. And also, as I said, to close this out, the best way for Tony Khan to debut her is probably most likely at Revolution at the end of the women's title match, either declaring her being the next challenger, ranking to be damned, or her getting the title shot right then and there because her contract says she can, ranking to be damned, and she walks out champion. But that's just my thoughts on the latest Mercedes Moné news, and her more than likely heading to AEW. Give me your thoughts down below, guys, about the whole situation, and I'll talk to you later.